What'd you say? Mix a beat? Alright, so you want me to do a tutorial mixing a beat with Neutron 2. Alright, so you heard it. Tutorial, Neutron 2, mixing. Let's get started. This will be a two-part tutorial on how to mix a hip-hop song in Ableton. I'm going to use Neutron 2. I'll link it down in the description if you want to listen to the full version. Today I will be using my speakers. I'm going to test that out. I can mix a lot better with my monitored speakers than I can with my headphones. I'll put my phone away. So I'm going to start this off with a little trick. Alright, got the stems on the desktop. Project is 134 BPM. Just doing that just in case. It's better to have things time aligned if you're going to chop stuff. You might have to chop stuff, you might not have to chop stuff, we don't know. Alright, so we got about 12 stems. I'm going to hold control while dragging these in to bring them all in together. Bam. Nice and time aligned. Just got to turn off the warping. Much quicker than dragging them in one by one, right? What are you, some kind of dummy? When people see you do that, they laugh at you. They're laughing at you, not with you. Alright, so I'm going to group all the drums together. Okie dokie, got the drums there. Put the vocals together. Then we're going to mute the reference. And we're good. First thing we are going to do is we're going to turn down all of these files. Negative, let's do like negative 6 dB. How about that? I'm going to start with just a sample, and yeah, just a sample. Let's start with that. So the cool thing about this plugin is it has some auto analysis, so we can use that if we want. I mean, that's pretty much the main use of the plugin. So if we're not going to do that, there's not really much point to me even doing a tutorial on this. So I'm going to let this sample play. I'm going to let the track assistant do its thing, see what it says. I like what it did with the equalization, the compression, and the exciter. So let's listen to each of them and see if we like the changes. We'll start off with the equalizer and see what it did. So it did some boosting and it did some dynamic cutting, I believe. The dynamic mode means when the signal hits a certain level where it gets hit by a sidechain, the EQ will trigger. It's different than a regular EQ. So that's one good thing about this EQ. I like it, but let's just tone down the settings some. So this knob here, it controls how much you want the effect to affect the instrument. So if we bring it down, it should not be affecting it at all, and all the way up is 100%. So we're gonna find a nice blend in the middle. Alright, so I actually like it almost all the way there. Let's see what the soft saturation sounds like also. I mean, I kind of like it. It's got like a nice colorful sound, so leave that enabled. So I'm going to do the same thing with the compression over here. I'm going to play with the mix up here. I think right about there sounds good to me. And I'm going to play with the excitement. That sounds nice and full and rich. So I think we have our sample sounding nice. Now let's try bringing in some of the drums. Hey, maybe not all of them though. How about just the kick for now? I'm dragging Neutron 2 on it again, and let's let the track system do its work again. See, like I wouldn't have thought to do this dip at this dip right here at 500 hertz. I'm a little suspicious about it, but it seems alright when we bring in all this other stuff. I honestly feel like I could leave it like this and then put like a filter on it. and it should sound good. I'm going to take an equalizer from Neutron 2 and put a little filter on it. Alright, so I think the kick and the sampler are sitting nice together now. Now I am going to I'm gonna bring in the hi-hat sounds. Let's bring in all the percussion sounds, but let's start out with the closed hi-hat and the open hi-hat. So we're gonna filter both of these a little bit. We're gonna do some high-pass filtering. Let's let honestly though, let's see what it says for the this track assistant thing. It's pretty interesting, because it has some ideas I would not always think of. You know, you just gotta think about whether it's an idea you like. Interesting. It's boosting a little bit of life into these sounds here. I like it. It's a little bit too much, but you know, you dial it back a little bit, and you got some nice adjustments. I think that exciter makes a big difference there. I like that. Something about it still seems a little bit off. I think we gotta EQ it a little more. I'm gonna turn all this stuff back on. I think I'm just gonna leave it how it is, and I'm gonna try to play with some EQs on it. Let's see. So I'm gonna take a Neutron 2 equalizer, drag it on top of that hi-hat. I'm gonna turn on the soft saturation. I'm gonna start cutting out the lows. That's the first thing I want to do. Because we want to make room for that kick. Man, there's a lot of lows in this. I cut out a lot of lows there. I still think it needs a little bit of shaping. So I'm gonna let's see, wow, what is going on here? Yeah, I'm gonna put another Neutron 2 equalizer on it, and the plan here is to try to shape it a little more. I'm gonna duplicate that equalizer one more time. I'm gonna shape the highs a little bit now, I think. This part's very difficult. Make sure you are mixing loud, and you have you're mixing on something good. It's always difficult to get the lows and the highs dialed in if you're not using good equipment, or if you're not listening loud, or if you just don't have experience. Bring in the snare now. Alright, let's see what Neutron 2 says to do with the snare. It's not bad. I just think we need to cut some highs from it. Maybe some lows too. Definitely snaps a little bit more than before. So let's cut some highs from it. We're just trying to bring it more in tune with the song and the other instruments we already have in here. Sounds good there. I'm gonna cut some lows too while we're at it. Don't want to cut too much lows though. That's giving us some of our snap there. May want to dial back some of these settings on this other Neutron. Alright, so what I did there is the snare was getting boosted here, but it sounded like it needed a little boost to the area a little below it. So I added a little bump below that. And so there's two little boosts around 1K and 2K. In all types of trap music, and usually hip hop in general, the kick and snare are usually mixed a bit louder than other genres. Let's bring in that open hi-hat. Let's throw a Neutron 2 on it. We'll do the track assistant, see what it says. Sounds pretty good as is. I'm gonna try to tweak the settings a little bit. Oh, what's that? You want me to use ozone? No thanks, we're not using ozone today. Gonna call in, just don't. Let's bring in the ride. Same dealio, we're doing the track assistant again. Okay, let's adjust the settings a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna bring in this crash. We're gonna do Neutron 2 again. We're gonna do the track system again. All right, so I guess this one's meant to layer with the other with the ride. Okay, I'm gonna cut a little bit of highs from this ride synth here. Just doing a little sound shaping here. I think it fits a little bit better in the mix like this. I'm gonna dial back all these settings and bring them back in slowly. Alright, I like the way that sounds now. It's like this one has a little bit too much highs now too. So I'm gonna duplicate this over and then tweak it a little bit. Duplicating it from the rides. So the drums sound pretty good, you might say. I would say you're wrong. The reason I would say that is we gotta cut room. Now we gotta cut some more room in these other percussion drums to make room for the kick and the snare. So I'm gonna move the kick and the snare to the left here. And I am gonna group every other percussion instrument. I'm gonna name them percussion instrument. All right, the plan is we're gonna have this Neutron 2 on this group. Take the input from the kick, and it's gonna detect what we need to EQ. And we're gonna put another Neutron 2 on here. We're gonna do the same thing for the snare, and then we're gonna let it do its work, and then we're gonna make some adjustments, and things should be nice and dandy. We can also do the same thing with the sample as well, so we're gonna do that. So kick perk, that is gonna be kick. And this one here, this is gonna be snare. Sweet. I'll make sure the 0 latency is on. If you don't want to sound and look foolish. I mean, you may be asking, what the hell are you doing, Weaver? Let me explain to you real quick. So by doing this, it takes the input from the other channel and it reads it and it tells us where we're gonna need to EQ at. So look at this. I have the kick coming in here, and I turn up the sensitivity here, and bam, it's telling us we need to cut around 400 and 600 hertz. See where it gets a little gray here? So I'm gonna make some dips around that area. Just an area where I think it sounds good. Turn up the sensitivity a little more, see if we missed anything. Maybe we can put one more low one. Let's do that. One more low one below that. Let's get it. Definitely cutting through. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the snare. I think that area sounds nearly perfect. So I think we got our kick and snare cutting through here. Now we are gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do it with our sample now. You guys may be asking, Weaver, why are you doing the bass last? Well, that's because I just want to make sure the drums all cut through, and then if you can hear everything in the mix before you put the bass in, it's really not that hard to just shove that in there. That's how I feel. I don't always do my mixes this way, but you know, sometimes I feel like this is a good route to go. Oh, and then afterwards, obviously the vocals. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing here with our sample. We're gonna cut some room for the kick and cut some room for the snare. So this one's gonna be kick. Kick sample, 0 latency. What do we got here? We got a lot of work to do, that's what we got here. Okay, so I helped the kick cut through there a little bit with those little bumps. Now we're going to do the same thing, we're going to do it with the snare. Not quite there though. I actually hear that we need to make some more room for the hi-hat. After that we can boost the volume a little bit on the sample. Okay, we're going to drag another Neutron 2 on our sample. And then we're going to go in here, put the masking to perk. Bam. Now we got the signal coming in here. I'm going to turn down the sensitivity because we don't want to, we're really looking for the highs here. Okay, now we got the hi-hats and percussion and whatnot cutting through the sample. We got almost everything there. Now let's bring in the 808. Okay, let's just solo just the kick and 808. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sidechain compression, and I'm going to do this part with ableton. If you're not in ableton, just use whatever you got to sidechain compress. So we're going to have the kick come in here. We're going to put on RMS mode. We're going to put the look ahead to 1 millisecond. Bring down threshold a little bit. Turn the ratio all the way up so that we can hear the sound, what it's doing really well. And play with the attack and release until I find a nice tempo for it. Now I'm going to dial back the ratio a little bit. First thing I noticed is that I just need to cut more lows from the sample right now. I think just to expedite the process for this part, I'm going to use the auto filter on a high pass setting. So I'm going to copy the EQs I had to cut room for the snare and the hi-hat, and I'm going to drag them over to the 808 to make sure the 808 does not clash with these things. So let's do that. There we go. We got our full beat mixed down in Neutron 2. It only took about a half hour. Now we're going to sit on this for a little bit, and then we're going to see if we want to make any last minute changes. And then next up, I'm going to mix down the vocals. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This has been myself, Weaver Beats, showing you how to mix down a hip-hop / funk song in Neutron 2 with Ableton. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Have you guys used Neutron 2 before? What do you guys think of it? I might do a review on it pretty soon, so I don't know, maybe that'll be interesting. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for exclusive videos, and I'll see you guys next time.